Yeah, I hope that you hearing me. This is the future, all about cybersecurity. Talking about the hackers, I'm just trying to warn you. From the one and only legend, the cyber informer. Hey, yeah, this is the cyber reformer. This is the cyber reformer. Let's go.
It's time for the Cybersecurity Business Connect and Protect Central Coast Q&A video. I'm Michael Tremblett, the Cyber Informer, and today we'll be talking in detail about data breach reporting. In celebration of Cybersecurity Awareness Month, it's very important for you to know your obligations when it comes to a data breach. In this video, we'll talk about data breach reporting and step you through a breach report. This is going to be a very fact-heavy video, but it's important for you to know what you are to do if you are breached. Let's go. So how do I report a data breach? The answer is you can fill in the online form, but before we get there, do you know if your business qualifies to report a data breach? We'll find out. A data breach happens when personal information is accessed or disclosed without authorization or is lost. If the Privacy Act 1988 covers your organization or agency, you must notify the affected individuals and the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner, or OAIC, when a data breach involving personal information is likely to result in serious harm. Under the Notifiable Data Breach Scheme, an organisation or agency must notify affected individuals and the OAIC about an eligible data breach. An eligible data breach occurs when there is unauthorised access to or unauthorised disclosure of personal information or loss of personal information that an organisation or agency holds. This data is likely to result in serious harm to one or more individuals, and the organisation or agency hasn't been able to prevent the likely risk of serious harm with remedial action. An organisation or agency that suspects an eligible data breach may have occurred must quickly assess the incident to determine if it is likely to result in serious harm to any individual. A data breach that occurred before 22nd of February 2018 is not an eligible data breach for the purposes of the Notifiable Data Breach Scheme. However, certain data breaches occur over a period of time. While the system may have been compromised before the 22nd of February 2018, data may have been accessed after that date. While the circumstances will need to be assessed, we suggest that an organisation or agency in this situation should assume the data breach is subject to the Notifiable Data Breach Scheme. The link at the bottom of this slide will take you to the government's webpage for more information. Are you exempt from the Privacy Act of 1988, therefore not required to report a data breach? Most small businesses are not covered by the Privacy Act of 1988, but some are. A small business is one with an annual turnover of $3 million or less. Annual turnover for the purposes of the Privacy Act includes all income from all sources. It does not include assets held, capital gains, or proceeds of capital sales. If the Privacy Act covers your small business, you have some obligations. To see if your small business needs to comply with the Privacy Act, complete our privacy checklist for small business or seek advice from your industry association or lawyer. Regardless of turnover, the Privacy Act covers any business that is a health service provider, doctors, dentists, etc. Trading in personal information. Trading in personal information generally means buying, selling, or bartering personal information. For example, buying a mailing list without first getting the consent of all the individuals on that list, or disclosing customer details to someone else for some commercial gain. A contractor that provides services under a Commonwealth contract. An operator of a residential tenancy database, typically real estate agent with residential clients. A credit reporting body. For example, if you process applications for credit on behalf of a credit provider. A reporting entity for the purposes of the Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorism Financing Act of 2006. Employee associations registered or recognised under the Fair Work Act of 2009. A business that conducts protection action ballots. A business accredited under the Consumer Data Rights System. You'll know if your business is accredited for this. Related to a business the Privacy Act covers. A business prescribed by the Privacy Regulation of 2013. A business that has opted in to be covered by the Privacy Act. If you are still unsure, this is the privacy checklist for small business. It is a handy questionnaire to determine if your business qualifies to comply with the Privacy Act. There are 15 questions. Your IT provider can't tell you if you need to comply or not. If you can't tell if you need to comply by the end of the checklist, you'll need to consult your legal team. Note, you'll see reference to APPs. This is the Australian Privacy Principles, which I will talk about on the next slide. The Australian Privacy Principles, or APPs, are the cornerstone of the privacy protection framework in the Privacy Act of 1988. They apply to any organisation or agency the Privacy Act covers. There are 13 Australian privacy principles, and they govern standards, rights and obligations around the following: the collection, use and disclosure of personal information, an organisation or agency's governance and accountability, integrity and correction of personal information, the rights of individuals to access their personal information. So you don't go to sleep, I'll leave it to you to look at the principles yourself. The link is at the bottom of this slide. Let's say it has been determined that you qualify to report a data breach and data is breached. How do I report it? Go to the website on the screen and click the button Notifiable Data Breach Form. From here, we will go through all questions in the Notifiable Data Breach Form. When you arrive on the page, you'll be presented with the About This Form information. Scroll to the bottom and click Continue. The Part 1 page will appear. The first thing you will see is a note to say, the information that you provide to the OAIC in Part 1 of this form must also be included in your notification to individuals, if notification is required. In other words, make sure you note what you say in this form because it will need to be provided to affected individuals too. Scroll down to the next section. Enter all of your business details into the section, including business name, address, contact information, and any other contact details. Scroll down. Fill in a description of the eligible data breach. This is a high-level description of the breach. Note what information was breached, how it was breached, and any software products that were breached. Scroll down to the next section. Fill in the field with the kinds of information that was breached. Things like names, addresses, tax file numbers, credit card details, medical records. Be as detailed as possible. Underneath the field, you will see tick boxes which need to be selected depending on what type of data was breached. Scroll down to the next section. You need to ensure individuals are notified of the breach and they are informed of any recommended actions. For example, if you run a web portal and usernames and passwords were breached, you would want to notify the users to change their passwords. If credit card details were breached, they would be best speaking to their financial institution to reissue the cards. If you are unsure what you should recommend individuals to do, consult with your IT provider, financial institutions, and/or your legal team. Scroll down to the next section. Is the breach data shared with another organisation or as a result of a breach of another organisation? In small business, most cases this will be a no. If it is a yes, you can enter additional information about the other organisation or agency that was affected by the breach. Once complete, scroll down and click Continue. The Part 2 page will appear. You'll see a brief description about Part 2. Note it states Part 2 of the form is optional. It would be best to fill in this part of the form, but you don't need to. Scroll down to the next section. Enter your contact details. This is self-explanatory. Scroll to the next section. Enter the dates of when the breach occurred and when it was discovered. The initial breach date might be a little difficult to determine without some forensics. It can be an estimate. Back in 2014, the Sony corporate networks breach was detected. It was suggested that the hackers were in the network for months exfiltrating data. This is why there are two different dates in this question, as the initial breach and the breach discovery could be very different dates. Scroll down the page. Further information about how the network was breached is required. Selecting an option will give you more information about it. Select the best option and scroll down. Select the total number of individuals who are affected by the breach. Then type the exact number if known. Scroll down. Now we need to enter how many individuals in Australia, in other words, how many Australians were involved in the breach. Select the best option and enter the exact information if known. Scroll down. Enter as much information about how the breach occurred in this box. Be as detailed as possible. Scroll down. Type in this box what you have done or are intending to do to assist individuals whose information was stolen in the breach. This could be as simple as send an email asking them to reset their password, or it could be phone all individuals to inform them of the breach and to let them know they need to replace their credit cards. This will be entirely dependent on the nature of the breach and what data was stolen. Consultation with your legal advisors may be necessary to determine the appropriate action. Scroll down. This section has you enter what you are going to do in order to remedy the current situation and prevent it from happening again in the future. This may include updating your company's security policies, implementing technological changes, or training employees. Be as detailed as you possibly can, then scroll down. Fill in the section on how you'll be notifying individuals that may be at serious harm from the data breach, when you will do this, or when you did this, and if you do not intend to notify individuals. You may be exempt from disclosure under Section 26WN or 26WP of the Privacy Act. 26WN refers to an enforcement body such as the police. 26WP refers to exclusions in the Privacy Act under Commonwealth law. For both of these exemptions, it would be recommended to get guidance from your legal team. Scroll down. List any other bodies you have reported this breach to. This includes police and other regulatory bodies. If you have suffered a financial loss, you can click on the Report an Incident link. You can then report an incident to law enforcement through the Report Cyber website. This is typically for online fraud, theft, and abuse. There are a number of reasons you should not report through the website, which are listed and include: there's already a court order, it's a physical crime, and you've received a scam call but you have not been affected otherwise. Back to the breach notification form. If you are notifying individuals, you can upload a template copy of the letter, email, or phone script using this section. Scroll down. And finally, you can provide any further information not covered in the previous sections. You can upload attachments and type in text. Tick the box if you would like the information provided in Part 2 to be held in confidence. Scroll down. Once you are confident that you have entered all the relevant information in the form, click the Submit button. And that's it. You've now submitted the information you need to when reporting a breach. If the government needs any further information, they'll be in contact with you. So what did we learn? We learned what businesses qualify to report data breaches. We learned how to determine if the Privacy Act covers your business. We know what information we have to provide when filling in the breach form. We need to report to the government and affected individuals. Thank you for joining me for a look at data breach reporting. Reporting digs into what happened, how many people it affected, how you have remedied the breach, and how you will contact the individuals. As always with anything, prevention is better than a cure. So if you hold personal information, you are best spending the money on protecting that data before a breach damages your reputation. Don't forget, you can contact me via email, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Have you booked for your free one-on-one cybersecurity assessment? To book, visit loyalit.com.au/register. Until next time, stay safe online.
Oh yeah, this is the Cyber Informer. Hackers, you going down like, oh yeah, this is the Cyber Informer. Hackers, you going down, yeah.